But I want to talk about this, okay? Not voting in 2024 is not an option. Hey, here's the thing. All right, first of all, you're already starting from a bad premise. Gen Z Democrat podcast on all platforms. Chris and Harry Unplugged. No one's talking about not voting. They're talking about not voting for Joe Biden. Okay, so you're already operating on a bad premise. When someone says, I'm not voting for Joe Biden, they're not saying, I'm voting for Trump, or I'm not voting at all, okay?
Straight up, if you don't vote for Biden in 2024, you're going to have a lot of explaining to do. You're going to have to explain to millions of women across the country why there's a national abortion ban and they no longer have the constitutional fundamental right to an abortion. You're going to have to come to me and explain to me why the nearly $1 trillion we've invested in climate change over the last 3 years for my future is gone, wiped away, just like that. We're investing billions of dollars into fossil fuels because we no longer believe in climate change. You're going to have to explain to your friends and your family why there's mass deportation camps set up around the country, why we're mass deporting immigrants. You're going to have to explain to everybody why the Trump administration is appointing federal judges to make sure he can overturn any election he wants. You're going to have to explain why the DOJ, the FBI, and the Department of Education are all gone, gutted. Can you do that? You're going to take all the progress we've made over the last 3 years, LGBTQ plus rights, gun control, climate change, abortion, all that, gone instantaneously. I do not understand the concept of a no vote. It's clear to me, look, even if you don't like Joe Biden that much, that's fine. This is what I'd say to you. You can vote for the old guy with a stutter, or you can vote for the old guy with 91 felonies who sexually abuses women, who commits fraud, and wants to overturn elections.
Okay, let's break a few things down here. First of all, listen, kid, you're 19. I know this is probably going to be the first time you've ever voted, okay, and you're very excited. You have very strong opinions about voting. Here is the thing. There are not only more than the two that are running, and keep in mind, I have always maintained, while first past the post voting exists, there is no such thing as a viable third-party option. So Cornel West, if you feel like voting for him, go for it. I don't really care. Do what you want. He's not going to win, okay? Secondly, you can not vote for Joe Biden and still vote for everything else that is important in your down ballot, right? You're 19, you probably don't know about down ballot initiatives, so, those still exist. Secondly, you're saying you're going to have to explain why all these bad things are happening, okay? If Donald Trump wins. You need to explain to me, someone who, I don't know if I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. I probably won't. I don't know. Probably not. Who knows? You're going to have to explain to me why all of those things that you're explaining haven't happened. You're going to have to explain. Let's break it down. Okay, here. Let's make a list. Let's make a quick little list of everything that he's complaining about, right?
National abortion ban, and they no longer...
Okay. National abortion ban.
Longer have the constitutional fundamental right to an abortion. You're going to have to come to me and explain to me why the nearly $1 trillion we've invested in climate change over the last 3 years for my future is...
Okay. $1 trillion in climate change investment. Also, where is that? I would love to see where that is.
Is gone, wiped away, just like that. We're investing billions of dollars into fossil fuels because we no longer believe in climate change. You're going to have to explain to your friends and your family why there's mass deportation camps set
Mass deportations
up around the country, why we're mass deporting immigrants. You're going to have to explain to everybody why the Trump administration is appointing federal judges to make sure he can overturn any election he wants.
Okay. Federal judges.
You're going to have to explain why the DOJ, the FBI, and the Department of Education are all gone, gutted.
Okay, Alphabet, Mafia, I don't know, gone.
Can you do that? You're going to take all the progress we've made over the last 3 years, LGBTQ plus rights, gun control, climate change, abortion, all that gone instantaneously. I do not understand the concept of a no vote. It's clear to me. Look, even if you don't like Joe Biden that
Okay. So let's break it down. These are his big list of like things that can happen, or the progress we've made. Okay, national abortion ban. Okay, what the fuck has Joe Biden done? Okay, so like, didn't codify Roe, didn't whip Dems into codifying Roe v. Wade. Okay, $1 trillion in climate change investment. Okay, well, first and foremost, I'm just going to put it right here. Largest oil and gas drilling leases in history. That's what Joe Biden has given us. Joe Biden has given us the largest oil and gas drilling leases in the continental United States in the history of this country. And what are they doing with those leases? Nothing. They're not drilling. They're doing nothing, okay? That $1 trillion in climate change investment, I'm going to need a fucking source on that. Because as far as I'm concerned, maybe $100 billion invested in climate change, like renewable energies. Because sure, we might have been doing some like subsidies for solar. We might have been doing some subsidies for like wind, solar, and like hydroelectric, but we're not building anything. We're not, EVs. Sorry, I forgot about that. We're doing investments in EVs in the form of carbon credits that go directly to companies like Tesla, so that Tesla can then sell those carbon credits to companies like GM, Ford, Chevy, Toyota, Jeep, and then those companies take those carbon credits and they can show them to the government of, look how many carbon credits we have, look how much we're reducing our emissions, and then continue along the exact same line that they've just continued to do. Okay, mass deportations. Okay, here's an interesting one, because Biden has deported more immigrants than Trump did and protected Title 42. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck you mean when you're saying like, oh, we're going to have mass deportations. It's going to be worse than it is under Joe Biden. It's going to be more brutal. Family separation policies are going to come back. That's for sure. Like the family separations are going to come back.
Well, she called me a communist
right?
in my own
But Joe
home.
Biden has done nothing to make a more streamlined pathway to citizenships. Yeah, we still have mass deportation camps. Like, we have that. We do. We have that. We have that right now. It's real, but I'll believe it all when we actually change. China is the only country that's actually doing stuff. Right. Fact sheet, President Biden's budget lowers energy costs, combats climate crisis, and advances environmental justice. First of all, lowers energy costs for who? Because where I'm at, like the regional electric company, Entergy, has increased electricity prices, energy prices, almost double in the last like 10 months. So I don't know what they mean. Where is the number? Oh, he's talking about the IRA. Okay, the IRA is bullshit. 40% of benefits of federal investments in climate and clean energy. Yeah, 40%. President's budget invests a total of $52.2 billion in discretionary budget authority to tackle the climate crisis. $10 billion more than fiscal year 2023, increase in 26%. Yeah, so $52 billion. Yeah, look at this. $3.2 billion for public housing. That's nothing. That's nothing. Resilience in rural housing. No, that's not happening. Increases permitting capacity. Environmental permitting programs that will expedite delivery of new modernization. Yeah, like, so what he's talking about is, okay, he doesn't understand what all this is. Okay, so this is a case of baby brain. Okay, let's go on his next topic here. Federal judges. Okay, so he's saying that Trump is going to appoint a bunch of federal judges that are going to allow him to overturn the elections. Okay, yes, that's true. Yeah, like, the erosion of like the pseudo-democratic norms that we have. Hey, here's the thing. Has Biden packed or expanded the SCOTUS? Has he done that? No. Certainly hasn't done that. Has he appointed federal judges that are, amenable to, or amicable to, like progressive policies? No. He's appointed in his lower appellate court appointments. It's all been like neoliberals. You're 100% more generous than reality, guessing 100 billion. Yeah, by twice, by twofold. Okay, Alphabet Mafia gone. Okay, first of all, that's not happening. If you think that the Trump administration coming back would get rid of the number one institutions, the FBI and the CIA, the number one institutions for maintaining America's imperialism the world over with the CIA, and like the number one institution to combat communists and leftists domestically, you have lost your goddamn mind. The FBI is full of Trump supporters. Then he says all the progress we've made, which I say, what? He said LGBT. Let me go back.
And the Department of Education are all gone, gutted. Can you do that?
Now okay, so that is a real threat. I will give him this. IRS, maybe like eroded, sure, but like gone. I don't know about that. The Department of Education, entirely possible that the Department of Education goes. That's. I'm not gonna say like, no, they're never gonna do that. This is possible.
That you're gonna take all the progress we've made over the last 3 years, LGBTQ plus.
Okay, LGBTQ plus rights. Where? There are very explicit, openly admitted human rights violations that Republican states are doing to queer rights. What has Brandon done other than like turn the LED projectors in front of the White House to make a rainbow? What has he done? Because while trans people have been increasingly under attack, both legislatively and directly through violence across the United States, Joe Biden hasn't done anything. Nothing. No executive orders, no whipping in the first 2 years of his administration to get his very narrow control over the House and Senate to pass any kind of laws that would codify their rights to gender affirming health care or legal protections for changing your pronouns, changing your name on your license or your birth certificate, making that transition easier, or protecting kids, right? He's done nothing about that. So when you say protecting LGBTQ, I don't know what the fuck you mean, right? I don't know what you mean. It may seem like the culture is shifted to be more accepting, which there's some truth to that. But broadly speaking, as far as the protections for queer people, that ain't there. So what are you talking about?
Rights, gun control, climate change, abortion, all that gone. Gun
control, climate change. What gun control? What gun control? What gun control? What gun control? I, right now, in an open carry state, no license required, can carry an AR-15 and walk up to the line of a school zone. And no one can do anything until I start shooting. What gun control? The only advancement that have been made have been at the state level. The down ballot stuff you were literally talking about. Yes, that's the only protections we have, is where we have arbitrary lines where human rights exist and then they don't exist. And then, what else did he say?
Instantaneous. Rights, gun control, climate change, abortion, all that.
What progress on abortion? What progress on abortion? What? Now, if you're saying, the states that have passed constitutional state protections for abortion will be rolled back because of a federal abortion ban, I'll hear you. But if you say we have made progress, no, we haven't. When one area of the country has rights and another area of the country does not have rights, That's not progress. Once again, the white moderate is unable to grapple with the actual issues at hand. It's the literal fucking Malcolm X quote. When you stab a knife 7 inches into my back and you pull it out 2 inches, that's not progress. Tennessee had concealed carry handguns without a permit since 2021 and can sell any gun through private sale without an issue. This kid is cracking me up about gun control. Right. And I will give this kid, I'm going to calm down for a second. Hang on. Let me take a little sip of coffee, okay? All right, everybody take a breather. I will give this kid the benefit of the doubt that he doesn't fully understand how this shit works, right? He's a libbed up shouty, okay? Sitting in his dad's BMW, okay? When we're talking about electoralism, a year away from the election, literally just under a year, you screeching in your car. Who's got the TikTok from 2020 about the girl screaming about fascists? I want somebody to pull that up. When you're screaming about this shit a year out, you have lost the plot. Demanding concessions from the sitting government looking to be reelected. When you demand concessions from those people, that is not you giving the election away. That's not you, allowing the bad guy to win. I must remind everyone that Joe Biden said nothing would fundamentally change, and he was right. What has really materially changed since Joe Biden took office, okay? Materially. 1, I'll list them out for you. 1, inflation has gone down to pre-2020 levels. Inflation, here's the caveat, was already bad. It was already bad pre-2020. Some things that have happened that are good. We've had some decent rulings from the NLRB on labor unions. We have seen unions increase. We have, for the first time in history, seen a president go on the picket line with workers on strike. Solid. Have we done anything to curb BlackRock buying up residential developments in this country? No. Have we done rent controls? No. And I'm talking about on the national level. Whatever I talk about in this, there are places throughout this country that have done things to address these things, right? And good on them. Have we done anything to push forward actual addressing of climate change? No. Have we done anything to address education costs? No. Have we done anything to address the cost of healthcare? No. They're like, oh, well, we capped the price of insulin. You capped the price of a necessary, you need this for the rest of your life medication at $35. Why is it $35? It's insulin. You need it to live. Why does it cost money? Yeah, after a disruptive tweet. Yeah, we've built more wall. Right? Have we done anything to address the issue of police brutality in this country? Have we instituted a national registry for police officers who do crimes? Have we done anything to address the cost of housing? Have we done anything to address the straight up cost of living, period? No. So I don't need to convince you not to vote for Joe Biden. I'm not even trying to convince people to not vote for Joe Biden. You, as an advocate for Joe Biden, need to convince me. And this is not it. This ain't it. Better than that, Joe Biden needs to convince me. I have a platform. I'm not a big, internet, celeb influencer, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But if the Biden administration wants me as a public personality to go out to bat for him, he's got to give me something to, go up to bat with. He's like, I need you to hit a home run for me. And it gives me no bat, no helmet, no cleats, no fucking training, nothing. He's just like, do it. Knock it out the park, kiddo. Something. Right now, there are at least 3 things that Joe Biden could do that would immediately rocket him across the finish line. 1, immediately cut off all aid to Israel. Immediately cut off all aid to Israel and work with the ICC, recognize the legitimacy of the ICC, and start prosecuting the people in Israel who have done this genocide. And take all of those funds that were going to go to Israel, slash it in half, and give it to Palestine. And tell Israel, if they touch a single red cent of it, then we are going to heavily sanction them. Okay? That's number 1, because it's the most pressing issue right now. Number 2, legalize cannabis. Across the country, remove it from Schedule 1. Immediately, your approval rating goes up 11 points. All right? Maybe even more. Number 3, direct your education secretary to cancel all student loan debt, and when the Supreme Court says it's unconstitutional, tell him to fucking kick rocks like Jackson did. Those are 3 things you can do with a phone call. You could conference 3 people, Anthony Blinken, the education secretary, and the head of the FDA. You could conference all 3 of them, put it into one single executive order. With a pen, he could win the next election. Will he do that? Abso-fucking-lutely not. You need to be Jenks VP? Well, maybe when he runs for re-election in 2028, whenever I'm actually old enough. These videos pumping out, these losers pumping out these videos think we forgot all the videos of people saying they were being offered money to glaze up Biden in videos. Right. But also, these kids were 14 when I saw their older siblings screaming about fascists in 2020. And I don't know if anybody found the video I was asking for about the girl screaming in her car in 2020. But if someone can find that, it's like, we're fucking gonna elect a fascist. This is rich. Hamas unleashed a terrorist attack because they fear nothing more than Israelis and Palestinians living side by side in peace. To continue down the path of terror, violence, killing, and war is to give Hamas what they seek. We can't do that. This is a video you were looking for? Yeah.
Listen, kiddo.
This kid is doing this. Where was it?
Tommy, go home.
Where was he? Oh, yeah. This kid is doing this, but for 2024.
I get it. I don't like the two-party system. I think our country's corrupt, and quite frankly, I don't want to vote for Biden. It feels like voting for a Republican. But I'm gonna do it. You want to know why? Because the alternative is a fucking fascist. A fascist is a fascist. Maybe we can have the conversation about dismantling the two-party system when a fascist isn't running. Maybe we can do that later, kiddo. Champ. Chief. Maybe we can talk about it later.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There has been a lot of discourse about the 99% Hitler versus 1% Hitler, right? Or 100% Hitler, right? If your options are between...
Adrian Vixen raided my stream with 12 viewers.
Thank you. Thank you for the raid, Adrian Vixen. If your options are between the Hitler that wants to kill 1 million people and the Hitler that wants to kill 6 million people, your first obligation is overthrowing your government. Like, let's be real. We are not in the situation of a 99% Hitler versus 100% Hitler. That's silly. If that's your option, you're Your only obligation is to overthrow your government. That's like your civic obligation. That's your moral obligation as a human fucking being. And what about 1/3 Hitler? Cherry, thank you for the gift sub. And
Tommy, go home.
there's a third option. It's called Joe Biden not doing a genocide, or not facilitating a genocide. Well, let's be real. Joe Biden is doing a genocide because Israel is a vassal state of the U.S. Everything they do, we have 100% control over. We could literally stop it right now if we wanted to. Everything about the entire structure of the Israeli government, we could quite literally enforce upon Israel to change. If we wanted to do literal, like, central committee style governance in Israel, Joe Biden could command Israel to do that. He could be like, listen, we've got ops all over Israel. Netanyahu, Ben-Gvir, Yoav Gallant, Smotrich, all you motherfuckers, y'all could fucking be floating in the Mediterranean real quick, hypothetically. Okay? Literally. We have CIA in Israel right now. Literally, they could toast them if they wanted to. All right? Fucking Isaac Herzog could be in a black site this weekend if we felt the gumption to do it. Okay? So, every bit of this is definitely under the control of the U.S. As a trans Southerner, I'm quite literally obligated to vote blue no matter who, because nobody will ever care enough to overthrow the government until it gets past trans people to a more important group. Yes, and I'm not telling people not to vote for Joe Biden. I'm not telling people to do that. I'm saying I don't know if I can do it, right? My vote does not matter where I am. Louisiana is more red than Texas. Like, our most recent, let me show you something. Our most recent government election in Louisiana brought out a map that looks like this. My vote does not matter as far as like the national general election goes. Locally, it matters way more, right? I'm in a small town. We don't have cops. We don't have to worry about a lot of things in this town. We have a very low crime rate because there's 1,500 people here. Everybody knows each other. Everywhere else, these blue lock districts like, New Orleans, Jefferson. Well, that's not Jefferson, but I forget. I think it's St. Tammany. East Baton Rouge. This random blue area up here, whose name I forget because it's irrelevant. Right? They're fucked. They are fucked. Is there a fire station? Yes, we have a fire station. We are technically called a village, but we call ourselves a town. The United States is like, who are you voting for? For real. For real. Do you want to vote for the guy that wants to do genocide against literally the majority population, or do you want to do a genocide against, or do you want to vote for the guy that wants to do a genocide against a specific, very small minority? Like, what option is this? Hey, here's another option. How about we vote for like the rebels and the what are they called? The Marauders, the Deathly Hollows. I forget what they're called. Who was Sirius Black? What was his group called? No, not Death Eaters. That's his SS. The Mentors? No, the Sirius Black. Order of the Phoenix. Yeah. How about we vote for the Order of the Phoenix and the Rebels? How about that? The Gooners. It's silly. It's silly, and I understand why people get upset about this, because you are afraid that less voter turnout is going to give an election to Donald Trump. I don't know if Trump has the gas to win again. I don't know. I do know for a fact that what the Brandon administration is currently doing is depressing voter turnout. You have lost Michigan. It's not the voters' fault that the Republican Party saw this happen in 2022 in the midterms by telling their voters that the entire system is rigged, voting is fraudulent, and that your votes are going to be altered anyway, they depressed voter turnout. And the Democrats are doing the same, the same effect is going to happen, but through the opposite direction of not doing anything.